Guys, welcome back to Doug Goes Places. This is the final installment in our series of our friendship honeymoon across Europe. If you've been following along with us this far, you know we started in Puglia, Italy, then to Prague in the Czech Republic, Grindelwald, Switzerland, where we just got on a train and ended up in Paris, France at Gare de Lyon station. Our crew was staying in an awesome Airbnb in Montmartre in the 18th arrondissement, which was just a short subway ride away. Our first night in the sparkling city of lights was pretty mellow. We had our first Parisian dinner at Café Le Fistons, which was pretty close by, followed by some kebabs at the local falafel shop, and we rounded out the night with some Shrek the Third before hitting the hay. Day one in Paris, we started over at Café Tabac with some nice Italian espresso to fuel up before we hit the day for a lot of walking, a lot of eating, and exploring pretty much all of Paris. I'm going to take you on a pretty substantial walking tour of Paris today, so get ready for lots of sights, but also a bunch of weird, interesting, and things that I just thought were funny. We started our Parisian walking tour by exploring the very famous Sacré-Cœur Basilica in Montmartre with amazing views of the entire city. After spending a bit of time at the Basilica and exploring the grounds, we decided to keep walking south and ended up on Rue des Martyrs, which was maybe the most saliva-inducing street I've ever been on in my entire life. Every single store has incredible food. The window shopping is way too much. I couldn't contain myself. I mean, just look at this food majesty. There's a million different cheeses that could put you in a coma. There are beautiful flatbreads baked in the ovens of heaven, and these dumplings look like they were sculpted by Michelangelo. I'm saying it now, Paris might be the greatest food city in the world. Our walking tour continued south, and it brought us to the Carousel Gardens with beautiful views of the Eiffel Tower as well as the Louvre Museum. It was a pretty insanely substantial wait, so we did not try to go to the museum, but continued to do some window shopping, some crepe eating, and just exploring more of the beautiful city of Paris. Guys, if you made me count the amount of crepes we had on this trip, I would probably have to use two hands. But in all honesty, a freshly made crepe is one of the greatest pleasures in the world. If you are walking around Paris and you smell the smell of a glorious freshly made crepe, stop. Give the man €3, eat the crepe, and take in the surroundings and beauty, because it just doesn't really get better than that. As we approached 25 miles on our Fitbits, we continued into the third arrondissement, Le Marais neighborhood, which I highly recommend a visitation. It is super cool, very funky, amazing food, great coffee shops, and really good thrift shopping. This thrift store called Free P-Star, you will see it every 2 blocks. Go in, buy a coat, it is great. Also, Le Marais is home to Motors Coffee, and this French vanilla Basque cheesecake was one of the single greatest things I've ever eaten in my life. And these egg tarts might have been a close second. To round out the walking tour, and with a little over 75,000 steps for the day, we stopped into a little cafe to fulfill our Parisian sidewalk bistro dreams. Even though it was raining, we had a great time with some happy hour wines and charcuterie. After walking around the city for hours, this was a perfect little break before taking the subway back to the Airbnb in Montmartre and getting ready for dinner. For dinner, we really wanted to embrace the Parisian cuisine, so we settled on L'Envers du Décor in Montmartre. We started out with a couple bottles of red wine and some escargot for the table, which none of us had tried before, but we really liked once we did, followed by about 7 plates of steak frites to go full in on Paris dinner.
You can't even taste anything.
Like, is all I can taste. Yeah.
You think you get water? Otherwise, can I have yours? No, we asked for more.
I'll drink it.
Overall, L'Envers du Décor is a go. It's not stuffy, not too expensive, and overall a great place to have dinner if you're in Montmartre. So, would definitely recommend. The next day in Paris was pretty much all about pastries. We set out to find the best and fluffiest croissants, and that started at Como Rebi Patisserie, which is definitely a top tier croissant and is a must visit. But it ended up with us eating our way all the way around Paris, one bakery at a time. Making its way to the very top of our bakery tour was Le Comptoir de Madeleine. This is the cutest little Madeleine shop in pretty much the entire world, and they had the most incredible Madeleines I've ever had. I cannot stress this enough. You must go here. Another top tier spot was Mamiche Bakery, which was insanely good. This place bakes everything: buns, baguettes, breads. Super good, super creative. Definitely come here. It should be at the top of your list. After eating a ton of baked goods, the perfect thing to do was to go try on a bunch of clothes, obviously. But seriously, we did hit a ton of thrift shops and a lot of cool clothing stores all around Paris, like La Fourie. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of great shopping in Paris, so just wander around. But really good thrift, really good vintage. And you can get some pretty nice designer clothes for relatively cheap compared to the States. To continue our tour de Thrift, we went back to the Marais neighborhood and we started seeing cops everywhere. Just tons of police vans, tons of police in like riot and SWAT gear. And we did not know this, but apparently this street is a pretty big spot to protest, and we walked straight into the middle of a demonstration. This particular demonstration was centered on the Free Palestine movement, and it culminated in me as well as hundreds of other people getting tear gassed. And because of my journalistic fortitude, you all get to witness, at the expense of my health and well-being, these harrowing adventures.
Attention! Putain de merde!
After being offered some eye drops by a kind stranger and curing my inability to see on account of the gas, I was able to escape and seek refuge in a nearby cafe. The police were able to stifle the protest, but after only about an hour of quiet, Paris being Paris, people were back to drinking champagne in the middle of the streets again. Later that night, it was time for dinner, drinks, and the famous Moulin Rouge. For dinner, we went to a spot called Marais for easy and very good Mediterranean food, followed by some pre-game drinks at La Suisse in the Pigalle neighborhood. This place was a perfect little dive bar with cheap drinks and was a short walk to the Moulin Rouge Cabaret Theater. Couple tips if you're planning on going to the Moulin Rouge. 1, buy your tickets in advance. You can do this online and pick your day. If you don't, the shows are likely going to sell out, so definitely recommend doing this. 2, get there early. The lines are a mess. It takes a while to get in, so go early, get your table, grab some drinks, and hang out. It's gonna be great. Now for my honest review on the Moulin Rouge. Am I happy that we went? Yes. The building is historic. It's beautiful. It's like a shining beacon of red in the middle of the city. It's pretty cool. But the show is kind of whatever. It's very much dated. It gets kind of boring. It's kind of expensive, but it's a great time. It's historic. I would do it. Would I do it again? Probably not. That's my hot take. But if you disagree, let me know in the comments. I'm sure other people would like to hear your thoughts. After the show ended, it was like 1 a.m., so it was time to head back to the Airbnb and catch some Z's. But it wouldn't be a night out in Paris without some late night kebabs and crepes. So we headed over to Kebab Fresh Tacos for some shawarma and ham and cheese crepes.
Red meat, and you want something to cut it. It's iron time.
On our last day in Paris and last day of the trip, we started out with some croque madames at Café Marguerite, followed by another visit to La Comptoir de Madeleine, the greatest Madeleine shop and maybe the best bakery in the entire world. These madeleines are baked fresh right in front of you and then pumped with your favorite fillings of vanilla, chocolate, or whatever. It is magic, guys. Once fueled up for the day, we headed over to the Centre Pompidou Museum to catch some modern art and views of the city. This museum is super cool and I definitely recommend a visit. The art is obviously amazing, but the building in itself is an architectural wonder and it's cool just to look out from the outside. They have all these escalators and glass tubes on the exterior of the building, and you get incredible views of the Eiffel Tower and the rest of the city just going up and down. So, highly recommend. After a full day at the museum, we headed over to Adelaide for some coffee and some quick snacks before getting ready and heading out to dinner at Le Petit Gros. This place was another local banger of a restaurant in the Pigalle neighborhood. A couple highlights were the natural wine, the duck confit, as well as the bone marrow. Great prices, great vibe, highly recommend it. Really, really cool spot to have dinner. Since this was our last night in Paris and final night of our friendship honeymoon across Europe, our crew wanted to go out with a bang. So we booked a night cruise on the Seine River to explore the city, look at the landmarks, as well as the sparkling Eiffel Tower. You can book these tours online, and I think they're generally around 10 or 15 bucks a person. There's a bunch of companies that do it, and they're all pretty much the same tour, but you can even do some tours that include dinner or drinks. I highly recommend doing this at least once if you haven't already. After the cruise ended, we wanted to get some final shots of the Eiffel Tower at the best viewing spot, but on our way over there, we ran into the Eiffel Tower carousel and had to make a pit stop. Do not sleep on the carousel. It is magical, and you're right underneath the Eiffel Tower. Be a kid again. Have some fun. Do this. The best viewing spot of the Eiffel Tower is at the Pont d'Iéna, the bridge right across from the Eiffel Tower Park. You'll be able to see the entire tower, take pictures in front of it, and every hour on the hour, it'll sparkle. And that wraps up Paris and our friendship honeymoon across Europe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and make sure to follow back for the next Doug Goes Places trip. Peace!